Go back to the 50s when life was so nifty with Bettie Bornay. Hello, darlings. It's Bettie Bornay again, bringing you everything 1950s, based on my hit book, A Bronx Christmas. Now, in this episode, we're going to be talking about everything financial. Today, when you buy something, you use plastic. You tap it, you swipe it, you hand it to someone, whatever. You use Venmo, you use PayPal, you stick it on some little device you have, these little squares, these cubes, whatever you call them. It's beyond me. I can't do it. But you may wonder, how did people pay for anything back in the 50s when these things did not exist? Well, I'll tell you. I'll show you. This is what we used. Cold, hard cash, coins and dollar bills. You know, today everybody has $100 bills, $50 bills. Back then, the biggest thing you ever saw was a $20 bill because things cost much less. And people didn't make that much money. Now, if you were some hotshot businessman and you wanted to take people out for a 3-martini lunch, you would have something called a Diners Club card. To my knowledge, to my remembrance, that was the only actual charge card type thing they had then, but that was only for those kind of people. Now, for everyday folks like us, you might want to buy something expensive, like a newfangled thing called a TV, or maybe a sofa or a car, whatever. To do that, you had to pay cash or you had to get financing. But if you went to a store, and nobody bought online then because there was no such thing as online, you had to do everything in person. But you would go and you'd say, I want to buy this TV on time. You'd leave like $20 down, $10 a week, probably paying for the rest of your life. Just kidding. But anyway, that's the way it was then. And if you went someplace like you were taking your whole family out for a big expensive dinner because it's an anniversary or something, and you didn't have enough cash, you could pay by check. That was the only other way. And if you didn't have a check, sometimes the restaurant would give you what they called a blank check. And you fill it out with your bank number and you sign it. And that was as good as a regular personal check because not too many people had checkbooks back then. But so getting back to cash money, you had to go to the bank and make sure you had enough money for the weekend because banks closed on Fridays. There were no cash machines, no banks were open. If you didn't get it by Friday at 3 o'clock, you were out of luck. Now they had something called blue laws. On Sundays, a lot of places were closed. You wouldn't have everything open like they have today. They didn't have big box stores for starters. Everything was a mom and pop kind of store. So they were closed on Sundays except for restaurants, except for bars, which could only open at 1 o'clock, by the way. And you might have the bakery open so that after church, you'd pick up some goodies from the bakery and take it home. But that was basically the way it was then because everybody spent Sundays visiting, listening to a ball game, just sleeping late, doing whatever. It was a day of rest for everybody. And I think we need that now. Everything is 24/7. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. We gotta calm down and chill out a little. You know what I mean? In fact, that reminds me, we had this little mom and pop grocery store around the corner from us with this immigrant couple, Sam and Ann Ovitz. They were such wonderful people. My mother would send me there in the morning before school to get Danishes and stuff. And I'd always say, could you mark it down? Mark it down. He'd take out this book and write down the date and the amount we owed. Everybody did this. And then at the end of the week, you go with money and you pay it off. People were so trusting back then. It was amazing. Now, everything on this show is based on what I wrote in my book, A Bronx Christmas. If you haven't read it yet, you better. I just want to tell you one thing about the cost of things in 1957. Now, in the book, the family goes on the New Pennsylvania Turnpike to go to a wedding in Pennsylvania, and they stop at Howard Johnson's for lunch. Howard Johnson's was this fabulous new place. It was the only place you could go to eat on the Pennsylvania Turnpike back then. So they go in a restaurant, and the family of 5 orders 5 dinners, 5 desserts. The whole bill comes to, what was it? $8.35, if you can believe. The father leaves a $10 bill and says to the waitress, keep the change, which was a big tip then. And then while the girls go to the bathroom, he says, I'm going to fill up the car with gas. And when they come back, he says, you know, the price of gas is going up. It's 31 cents a gallon. If only that were like true now. I have a little note here of what things cost in 1957. You could buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home for $10,000. Milk was $1. Bread was 19 cents. A postage stamp was 3 cents. A TV dinner, 75 cents. A can of peaches, 25 cents. And by the way, $1 then was worth $12.68 now. Unbelievable. So my advice to you is, give yourselves a day of rest, whatever day that may be. Get off the computer, get away from all the serious stuff, the running around, whatever. Just chill out, relax with your friends, talk to each other face to face, read my book to each other, whatever, have fun. Remember, life is short. Eat dessert first, okay? So anyway, we're going to end the show now, but I want to tell you, next time, I'm going to take you on a tour of an authentic 1950s kitchen. It's my kitchen. It's not the one in the book, because the apartment was very small and the kitchen was very small. But you're going to love my kitchen. We're going to go on a tour and see all the vintage everything. And I may even do a tour of the bathrooms too. So until next time.